Hello friends and welcome! In this video I will build the American fighter jet, the F-16 Fighting Falcon. For the build I decided to purchase the 1:48 scale Hasegawa kit. Let's see what's inside. For a 1983 kit, the kit's details are decent. Some of the kit's details like the cockpit tag look great, but the front and main wheel well don't. I will replace them. The kit includes nice details like riveted wings, a pilot figure, and since the kit is reboxed a couple of times, new parts of the air intakes, jet engine nozzle, and more weapons. The kit includes an option for a closed and open cockpit canopy. The instruction manual is full of useful information. You can build the model with a large variety of weapons, but I think I will go my own way. Great! Looks like a fun project. Let's build it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for not missing any new notifications. The cockpit tab was simply to build. It included only few parts. I didn't like the ejection seat, so I replaced it with a resin one from Quick Boost. Let's paint the cockpit. The cockpit tab and the ejection seat is painted with a Gunza Mr. Color C308 light ghost gray. The upper part of the cockpit is painted with Gunza Mr. Color C33 matte black. After airbrushing, I paint all the small details with Vallejo model color paints. Next, I gave the painted details a light gray and metallic dry brush. Let's seal the painted details with a glossy varnish and add a black wash. The wash's drying time is about 15 minutes. To remove the excessive wash, I used a cotton bud soaked in enamel thinner. The next step is the main and front wheel well. The kit's wheel wells are simplified. I decided to replace them with aftermarket accessories. First, I have to remove the kit's wheel well parts with a cotton rotary disc, sand down the unnecessary plastic and dry fit the resin wheel wells a couple of times. Maybe it looks simple, but it's not. You have to be very careful and do a lot of dry fitting. It's not the best fit, I saw better, but it will do the job. To hold the resin part in place, I glue it with a liquid superglue. Okay, let's glue the cockpit top into the fuselage and glue the fuselage together. Let's continue by gluing the radar cone, the vertical stabilizer, and the wings. For more balance, I add weight to the radar cone. Now to the fun part, the front wheel well. This part took me a couple of days to work. The plastic wheel well must be removed and sanded down. The fit is very tight, and the resin part must be also thinned down to a perfect fit. I had to took down more plastic than expected. Looks like the resin parts are made for the Block 40 and up version of the jet. I'm doing a Block 25 version and I'm using the oval-shaped air intake. Maybe that's why I having so much work with it. Maybe. In other case, it's a good experience. There are tiny gaps between the air intake parts. I quickly filled them up with Mr. White Putty. And quickly remove it with a cotton bud and a leveling thinner. The next step I'm going to do is to modify the landing gear by adding hydraulic hoses. Usually I use lead wires of diameters from 0.2 up to 0.5 mm. Lead wires are easy to bend, so the work is pleasant. For a better detail, I create tightening clamps from self-adhesive aluminum foil. Time to work on the exhaust nozzle. The kit's nozzle is very simplistic, so I use an aftermarket accessory instead. Details of this exhaust nozzle are great. The resin is harder and it doesn't break while cutting and sanding. Let's see how the resin part fits to the kit's fuselage. It fits very good. Next, I paint the air intake. The fit is very tight, so be careful to not damage the air intake. The cockpit canopy has a little problem. There is a seam line visible over the whole length of the canopy. I need to sand it down and then polish the whole clear part. For sanding I use water and a smooth sandpaper of a grain from 1000 up to 2000. To polish the canopy, I use Tamiya's polishing compound. Time to fill up all gaps with putty. I let the putty dry out through the night. Next day, I sanded down the putty underwater with a 800 cold strain sandpaper. Next, I work on the cockpit canopy. I glue the rear canopy frame with Mr. Cement SP and add the head-up display. After that, I masked the cockpit canopy frame with masking tape, glued it with PVA glue to the fuselage and masked it with a liquid mask. Before I start to paint the model's camouflage, I paint the jet exhaust. Alright, the model is getting ready for painting. Before priming, I clean the model with alcohol. As usual for priming, I use Mr. Primer Suppressor 1000. After priming, I highlight all panels with a black pre-shading. For this model, I will experiment again and use water-based acrylic paints from Mr. Paint. The paints are good, they don't smell and have a good coverage. Let's paint the wheel wells as well. To be sure, I let the paint dry out for 24 hours. Now I mask the wheel wells with a masking tape. A lot of modelers are painting the F-16 in the standard NATO camouflage. I wanted to do something different. Aggressor camouflage is very nice. It makes the jet more interesting. As you can see, I'm testing the Mr. Paint colors for the first time. I progress slowly and carefully and adding layers step by step. To create a sharp transition to the camo colors, I use the Planet Models masking sheet. The masking sheets are excellent. They are created to be used on the Tamiya kit, but there is no big problem to use them on the Hasegawa kit. Unfortunately, I don't have the correct color shades for this camouflage. I had to mix my own shades from the paints I had. Let's apply the Galaxy model masking sheet. The masking fits perfectly. I was a little bit worried if the Mr. Paint water-based acrylics would tear off after I removed the masking tape, but they are very resistant. After the camouflage is painted, I paint all details with a thin paintbrush. I almost forgot to add pose shading. I added a drop of white paint to the camouflage colors and carefully airbrushed each panel separately. After it's done, I seal the paint job with a glossy varnish. Time to apply the waterslide decals. The Galaxy model masking sheet also includes decals for 3 aircraft. The decals are excellent. They are very strong and resistant. Next, I seal the decals with another layer of glossy varnish coat. For highlighting the panel lines, I use Tamiya panel line accent color black. I often use this panel line wash. It's very good in quality, doesn't smell so bad as other washes, and dries out very fast. And it can be very easy removed by enamel thinner. The next step is weathering. For a more used and weathered look of the aircraft, I highlight all panels with a white oil paint and blend it to the surface with the enamel thinner. The same technique is repeated with different oil paints. I'm trying to create different shading by using burnt sienna, burnt umber and viridian green colors. This weathering technique is very simple. You can use a lot of different shades of oil paints to create a very nice looking surface. The oil paints can be thinned down very easily. If you are not satisfied with the result, you can remove the weathering simply with paper napkin and start over again. I let the weathering dry out for a day. Next, I seal it with glossy varnish. Time for the final assembly. I glue the landing gear and the vertical stabilizers in a parking position. Next, I remove the cockpit canopy frame and the liquid mask. At the very end of the assembly, I glue the underbelly ECM pod, a A9 infrared air-to-air missile, a ACMI pod which I created from a Submariner missile, and glue the cockpit canopy frame. And the Hasegawa's F-16C Fighting Falcon is finished. With some breaks, this build took me 5 months to complete. I hope you liked this video build. Please subscribe to my channel, like or share. If you want to see more of my work, join me on Facebook or Instagram, there's a link in the description. Thank you for watching and see you next time.